All right, welcome to this video. This is part two of a video I did a little bit ago, or maybe not. We'll see where this goes. I want to get into a little bit of the physics or the wordplay. I have questions, so I'm just going to kind of see where this takes us with this wordplay. So some of this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis. And this is just a little bit about some of the words I've been writing down in flow that I'd like to understand more of, or be able to explain it in a very fun word play. So we'll see what comes through with that. So about the reality that we're shifting into, about the energies that we're experiencing, all that good stuff. So as we tune into this field, our presence is required. When we tune into the multidimensional field that we are all part of, it requires us to be present and to hold space for these energies that are all around us are moving through us at all times. We are all part of the interconnectedness, or the wave, if you will, that makes up all time, that makes up all human energies, that makes up all energies beyond the human frame of existence. And yet, in order to be in this reality, we must somehow separate ourselves from that. Otherwise, all of it would become overwhelming. So we are called to use some of the words that have been instilled upon this particular matrix or topology of the earth grid structure for the particular desire of understanding a bit more about where we are headed. And so this will be a compilation, if you will, of a play on words. Sorry, I had some background noise. Of a play on words, as well as an energetic transcription, if you will, to be transcribed in a multidimensional way. Let us play with this for a moment. As we open up to this field, we recognize there is a new energy at play. We've spoken of this before. There's a new bandwidth, we might say, that we are now interacting with. This has been created for the desire of the human to expand its perspective from the previous lineage, the previous objective, the previous lineup, if you will. And we are inviting you to play with this as well. And so we are called to recognize that we are feeling the call, to recognize there is more. There is more feeling. There is more to the feeling, the call, than just sitting back and waiting for it to show up for us. We are being called to feel into the reality that we wish to feel. So this is a template, if you will. It creates a template or a structure that allows us to organize into that future display. It allows us to morph, merge, and play with that future integram of energy. I'm being called to play with that briefly. Play on words. So it has to do with integer. And I'm being called to play with that. Complete, whole, intact, uninjured, sound, and healthy. But also, I believe this is, it's an integrar. Thought it was integer. I was like, that isn't what. To integrate, to embed, incorporate, or to include. So we wish to tie in together many of the different conjunction points that have been shared in these videos. For if we were to go back and look at a template structure of all the videos that had been shared over the years, there would be an organization to it. Although in some ways, some of the videos do not hold the same template structure that the newer videos do. And this is exactly how we would say is with you, play on words. We are, each of us, now organized in a different style, a different template, in a different order of things, if you will. And this is difficult to understand when we are basing our order on what we think the order has been. So the computations, or the ability to compute the energies that are available to us, seem redundant. This is a play on words. Let us play with this a bit more. Ni'ish ukua. So I'm gonna do some light language. Nik uahash ik ainehe waish ine. We use language as an add-on, if you will, as a way to tie together a subharmonic structure that is actually a vibrational frequency that allows us to connect into a slightly different template or tempo, if you will, within the human brain. It is very well known that sound has an impact on the body and, of course, matter in general. And as we use sound, we use it to assist us in reorganizing the tempo and template structure that is within the human membrane. And so we are called to focus on that temporarily as we use sound in order to better interpret orders to things such as words. But we are being called to play with the bandwidth right now. We are being called to play with a different bandwidth that allows us to play a different instrument. Throughout this instrument, or this template, if you will, this instrumentation that allows us to read where we are flying to, one might say, I'm seeing a plane, I'm seeing a navigation system. So as you move into a field that sounds different, sometimes it is difficult to pick up the underlying tempo. And we would venture to say that each of you has reorganized into this field of matter, if you will, and your presence matters. How much you bring forward from your inner knowingness, your inner match, your inner light, is part of what has an impact on this new field of matter. For you are essentially creating and pulling things out of the air, if you will, and creating them in this new reality in such a way as never expressed before. Scale at which this is being done is not reversible, we might say. It is in a place where I am being shown, I don't know what I'm being shown, like a strange loop, but I'm being shown like we're not in the middle, maybe we're in the middle of it, but slightly to the right. I don't know, I'm just being shown like a place on a map. Let us address the schematic for a moment. For all is, okay, so what I'm being shown is sound, and the sound coming out and creating this template. And then I'm being shown each of us holding a frequency or sound that is having an impact on the template and the structure around us. And therefore the manifestation or matter that's coming forward out of this sound is creating this shape. And I know that's confusing, but this is going to be one of those videos. We are sharing this to kind of share how this manifold is created, if you will, how this manifestation occurs from a quantum scale, if you will, for even the slightest sound has an impact in the reality scale. And we are also sharing that the idea is to compile all of the videos that have been created in this particular template. I'm being shown my YouTube videos, and put together a schematic to assist in sharing some of this vision of the structure of realities in wordplay format. For my purpose is not necessarily to share the structure of reality, but to share how it is that I tune into the structure of reality and how it presents to me from my own perspective, because it is through my experience of seeing, feeling, and talking about this in this presentation that offers a perspective, that offers a signature, that offers a pattern that is then projected into the field that creates more of this signature or pattern. And the more often it is created, the more it is able to be, I'm seeing create conjunction notes, like it's creating a symphony, it's creating a type of energetic compilation in the field. And this brings a life, if you will, to this signature pattern. And the reason we like to share in this signature pattern is because it is something that is done on a different scale. We're offering this information through channeling, and of course, as we always say, it is Carrie, connected through harmonics and fluidity of energetic signatures and frequency with a collective of energy that could be seen as a particular scale, a particular color, a particular name, font, or signature. Yet this collective frequency comes from multi-parallel realities and dimensions. That is something that can be usable in this particular dimensional exchange. So we bring through the information that may be accessed, that may be useful for those tuning into this information in their own variance, in their own way. So as we listen to something that holds a truth to it, that holds a spark of innate intelligence, that holds information that can be felt in the fluctuation of the frequency dynamics, the speed of variance, the offering of the energetic component that can be felt. This is what this is all about. For as we share in this way, it creates an ability to convey information that would not usually be expressed in this format. And because we are expressing it in this format, it is allowing those who also can feel into this expression to hydrate, if you will. I'm seeing a play on words with this, hydrate. It allows for certain chemicals in the brain to be unlocked. It allows for certain memories or floodgates to open, or response servers or servers mechanisms within the server to activate and stimulate the senses so that the inner ears or the inner senses are reinvigorated. For even though the information may seem all over the place, it actually holds a consistency in form. It holds a consistency and energetic station, if you will, that everyone tunes or attunes to in their own way. And this is why the information we share, the information that we display in this particular format feels a certain way, has a particular resonance or tone, because it is shared in a tone or resonance through the harmonic of intuition, through the carrier wave that I am expressing through the we, that is part of the fluid or the field or the energy that we are all part of. So each of us has our own groups, if you will, our own collective energetic guides or scales or harmonics or energetic contributions or contributing organisms to this matrix of reality that give us the ability to move into higher states of being, expressing, playing. And we all receive this information as a bandwidth in a different way. Sometimes it is expressed through color, cooking, dance. Sometimes it is expressed through poetry. Sometimes it is expressed from through a story that we think we are creating and making up, yet we are pulling from another storyline in other dimensional grids or points of access in the consciousness that is the matrix that we are all poured into. And so we all have the ability to utilize our creativity and harness this frequency in a particular methodology. And that's a play on words I'm hearing, melodic, like the melody, and then also in a different method or style or way of conducting through this energy. So we all become our own conductors, if you will, of frequency and energy. We all become our own wave, our own way of producing our creativity in our own variance. So we are inviting all who are able to feel into this, to feel into your own creativity, to feel into your own ability to access these higher realms of information, to access your own higher realms and creative abundance. So some of the things that we are co-creating together are being expressed through technology. And we would invite you to be that technology for as I am, tuning into these multidimensionality and different ways of accessing information. You each have this capability. For some, it will happen at a tremendous rate of speed and so quickly, there is no break in time. It is that ability to measure. So what I'm being shown is like some people are channeling, like I'm channeling, right? But there's no break, right? So if you're just in that state of flow and you're in that aha, some people are just doing it already naturally. A lot of scientists are doing it. A lot of people who are creating technology are doing it, and they're just tapped in at all times. So if we can do this through our heart coherence, it gives us the ability to do it easier. And not all of us are here to express in the same way. So some people are doing it through opening a beautiful restaurant and teaching people how to, do farm to table organic, displays of art. Some people are, so there's so many different ways that each of us is pulling out of this incredible orchestration and symphony of energy and sound. And so, we're being encouraged to do this as often as we can. And again, I'm being called to go back to my previous video where I was talking about we're in a grace period. So there's a play on words with that, like it's the end of a sentence, the period, right? But a period can also represent time. And I'm seeing the point in the circle, and it brings me back to the singularity, and so on and so forth. And so rather than getting as technical as perhaps we would get at other times, we really wish to hone in on your own ability to hone in on your own abilities. For each of us holds within us transcendence. Each of us holds within us the ability to transcend the rationality that we have been pegged into, if you will, that we have identified with, that we have been identified as. We're being invited to step away from our old identities and to move into a higher definition that cannot be defined by old realities, that cannot be defined by our old systems. And I'm hearing again, systems of a down, right? Or down, like lower frequencies. We can't quite define where we're moving towards because we're so not used to it, right? We're just Like, what is this? How can you describe something, seeing it for the first time when you're not even aware that you're seeing it? And that's kind of what I think a lot of people are going through right now. So we would just end on this note for this particular transcription. You have a world inside of you of information and knowledge. And this is meant to be utilized for fun. It is meant to be utilized for creative abundance. It is meant to be utilized for many different reasons. And we would venture to say that it is time to utilize this creativity for whatever reason it may be that you wish to express through your reality. And we are being called to move into this state of light or enlightenment, or in a higher state of resilience, not by necessarily changing that which was, or falsifying evidence of our old reality. This is a play on words. But by tuning into a deeper sense of magic, a deeper sense of what we think we see, moving into what we see without thinking, and somehow tying the two together through a beautiful foundation of sound harmonizing at a higher frequency of resilience, a higher frequency of soundtronics, a higher frequency of, I'm seeing like 432 hertz, 528 hertz. You can look that up. Is it 528? Maybe 852. I can't remember all the numbers, but I would encourage you guys to look it up and maybe listen to those binaural beats, because what they're showing me is we're the ones making those frequencies. We are all part of these sounds and harmonics. So playing with this sound, again, I'm hearing with ears to hear, with eyes to see. We're not just stuck in a particular format anymore. And it's very exciting, and it can feel almost, it can feel very confusing at times, right? And as we tune into this deep letter alchemy, our ability to conduct through this new symphony, through this new bandwidth, it changes our entire reality now. And in no time at all, we begin to see the results of the input that we are putting into our future now. We begin to let go of a time frame, for the frames in which we are accessing time have opened, and we are beginning to see with less resistance. Even though it feels at times we are up against great resistance, we are only giving ourselves the gift of that which we can see beyond. So we are being invited to see beyond the realms or capacity that we have seen before. Stop comparing our, I'm hearing stop comparing notes, but that's a play on words. Like, I'm hearing this note, but it should sound like this. It's like, why? Let's just play with that too. And this will shift everything in such a profound and fast, from one perspective, way that we become unhindered rather than unhinged. We become more aware of that which is on the fringe, if you will, and we begin to see things beyond this. I'm hearing the outputs are bigger than the expectations. And I'm also hearing that even the output or the energy that's put out is actually even more than the energy that's put in. because it's a collective of energy and frequency. It's like they're just showing me the nature of multidimensionality, and we just are out, we're out surpassing even that which we thought we could out surpass. And they're just saying, when they said stop comparing notes, like a lot of people are looking at the outside going, according to what's being reflected back to me, we haven't grown at all. But what they're being shown is that's because we're looking at only that. So stop just looking at that and then looking down and saying, okay, this is how my reality should look. Start using our own innate intelligence that allows us to tune in to the source or the sound that moves through all things, the divinity that is within us. And this allows us to create less of this, I'm just hearing it's more seamless. It's less of this, I have to rely on that to get this. It's, there is no separation, and it moves through, anyways, it's beautiful. It just can feel really wonky at times, right? As we learn to navigate as multidimensional beings. So I know this was a little out there, but my guides are kind of again and again wanting me to share from that out there perspective, because it gives us an opportunity to just let go of what we thought or what we're hanging on to, right? So tightly to. It's like, can you soften and can you use your imagination? Who cares if it's not real yet, right? Just play. And there's something about this time frame as I'm sharing these videos in the year of I almost just said 2026. So I think that's relevant. I guess maybe from now until 2026. There's a really powerful energy that's kind of, I'm hearing, can you dig it? Can we dig it? Can y'all dig it? Like, can you feel it? Dig in. But it's not dig into the old. It's like dig into your imagination. Bring it up. And I'm seeing like tilling a garden. I'm hearing fertility, right? It's fertile ground. So while all this other stuff is happening simultaneously, just to be aware of that, doesn't mean that's not going to happen. It's happening, whatever that it is, but simultaneously we're creating our own fertile ground. So the faster or the more we play with that, the faster that other stuff starts to dissolve and begins to reflect back to us what we're creating now. So that's part of what's happening on a quantum scale. In love and light, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I know these videos are kind of out there, but I'm grateful for everyone for watching these and liking them and sharing them. Obviously, it's meant to be playful and have fun. So hopefully you felt positive from listening to this, or felt a little bit more expansive is always my intention. In love and light. Namaste.